Last week I made this concept in Planet Zoo. Today is the day where we bring this actually into the game. We are going to make this step by step so you can see each individual step until this is done. You're in for it? So let's go. Alright, the first stop is actually the main layout of the Infinity Valley. So you've seen the whole thing has been laid out as like an infinity sign, and this is the version that I created in-game. It's not perfect, but you'll see later on why it actually suits our needs. But from over here, let's skip it to the first time lapse. Alright, so you can see that there are a couple of little things already changed. You can see that I'm getting rid of some elephant grass and stuff. So this is the point where we started to have a first major, eye on what to do. So I created first of all the traversable area for the animals. Since I wanted to make this habitat actually work as a habitat, for example, for the wonderful franchise mode as well, it had to be realistic. It had to fulfill all the size needs and requirements of the animals, but it also has to grant them all the other enrichment needs. And this is why I also created some overpasses and underpasses for the leopard to actually roam around. And at the same time, we also needed to create, obviously, a certain area for our staff members to roam around as well, to be able to, do whatever they need to do for the enrichment items that you will put eventually into your habitat. Now this has been one of the major tasks at the beginning, and then I started building out and fleshing out the first main feature of this build, and that is the bridge itself. Now the bridge is this kind of half circle going up, and this was mainly inspired by the panda habitat from the Copenhagen Zoo that I've shown you in the build or in the painting. By the way, if you haven't seen the painting, I highly recommend doing this. If I remember, I'm going to put like a little info bubble in, so you can first of all watch the concept art and then come back over here and see how this looks in the real game. Now you can see I finally went for a design, and also thanks to my live chat, we did the first part of the build in the live chat on Twitch. Thanks for letting me know that these wonderful new conservation pack wooden items are actually non-climbable items, which is brilliant because they are very nice looking, and finally a good kind of substitute for the Arctic pieces, because the Arctic pieces are obviously non-recolorable items, and finally we do have recolorable items that are non-climbable as wooden pieces, and that is a huge help to the game. I did not notice that, but this is eventually what it is like, and I am superbly happy that this actually is here, because then we can use it. But you can see I went for a very modernist design, changing a little bit between concrete plaster and the wooden slabs in between, just to give it a bit of a warmer feeling and not too cold with all the stone. And then I went for a very nice kind of a fence design that uses the European pack cables from the light strings and stuff that are pretty thin, which I like, so that it kind of translates into a very nice mini fence over there. I really do like that. And then we went on putting a lot of other plaster pieces in. I do say that I had a bit of a struggle to find the right version, like the right kind of weight between plaster and how tall and fences and stuff. I'm super happy with the final result, but that said, the benefit that you had for the Copenhagen Zoo in the panda habitat is that they won't be able to jump quite high and then climb out. But our friends the leopards, and since this is a realistic build, they are capable of jumping rather high, and so I needed to build that into my concept. And while I was drawing it, I obviously didn't take too much attention, or put too much attention on the fact how easy they could escape, and I needed to put that into the build now. But yeah, that said, we are nearly done with this first little time-lapse block. Let's go over to the next little block, in which I'm going to show you the process in a little, cinematic shot, and then we talk about what I have done here and what is up next. Alright, so now you can see that we have added the bridges, but also we have added green tarmac and also some grass pieces to the bridges. Now we have the overpasses for the animals, and we also do have a couple of little things already in place, some stones and stuff, to kind of give me an idea where I want to go with this design. Because one thing I obviously needed to look at is also how will I get these overpasses secured in order to make sure that the animals simply just don't jump down and eat some people out. So I will come up with a good idea how we will solve this issue, which we'll see in the next part. But I'm super happy with how the bridges in general turn out, as you can see over here. Very slick, modern design, very much close to what we've seen in the concept, which you can see always next on your screen. So yeah, that's what we've done. So move on to the next block. And in this blog, we will finally find out how I'm going to tackle the issue of some of the security netting and also making sure that these animals can't escape, and also how I'm actually basically pulling off most of the fences and the designs that I, just went for out of my imagination in the concept art. Now, that said, I think in many parts I actually did improve over what I have envisioned in my concept art. There were a lot of very troublesome things in here. For example, this thing in the front over here, which, to be fair, in the final version of what I've built looks super clean. You'll see that at the end, so stick with me to see the final result, because it really looks cool and it looks super clean. But man, that was such a struggle to get this this very clean line, but it's tilled, it's rounded, and then it also has like a rounded top, which I could have done so much easier, I guess, with the in-game fence. But the problem about this in-game fence is that sharing it as a blueprint later on for you guys will be a pain in the, because you guys just have to put all of the fences in yourself then, because obviously when you create a blueprint, you always have to make sure that everything scenery-wise is within the boundaries. And so what I usually do is that I provide you guys with a blueprint that has a way larger footprint than the actual habitat has, and then you can later on put your own gate into the dedicated spot, but then you don't have to do all the other things, because glass and stuff, and unfortunately only the habitat perimeter is going to be included. So whenever you use fences as a design element, which can be super clever, you can't share that as a blueprint, and that is a little bit of a pity. But yeah, you can see putting these kind of little wall designs in here, like these little window designs as envisioned in the concept, making sure it's all one-side glass or one-way glass, so that our animals are not super stressed. Also try to really think about this factor of being stressed, and I think this habitat is very well made for not being stressed in terms of where the people are, and there is a lot of thoughts that went into the design of that. The animals have a lot of privacy. They can really hide in various spaces. I made it a lot more lush than I thought I would in the final result. So you'll see that I'm going to go a bit more crazy with the plants. I think I could have gone even more crazy, but the problem is that I took a lot too much from the traversable area, and the final result of this habitat will even have a clue. It is just about the exact size that they require, but if they would have babies, they already have not enough space. And what I did is I included a tiny little space in the actual backstage area, what you can always add to the habitat. At the moment, I just covered that off and close it off, but you can easily slide the doors away and then just add that to your habitat, and then you have enough space added to have at least 2 or 3 cups in your habitat as well. Now, you see me also adding some of the rocks over here, making sure that, most of the concept is now going to be tackled in terms of the design. And the whole layout is now coming together. It really is always the same. The foundation work takes ages, and we are already way over 70% in the finishing state of this habitat, even though it doesn't seem like. It just takes ages to really finally get the right design done. You can see I also waited a long time until I did the backside of this bridge design, and there's a good reason for that. The reason why I waited so long is that I had a certain point of view in mind from where the people go, in my opinion, people will always go up the bridge to the highest spot and then go down. So I thought that it would make a lot of sense to make the design follow exactly that rule, that they will always look into that direction. And so the left-hand side of the bridge isn't as important as the right-hand side of the bridge, because you will always, intentionally put your thoughts and, your view to the right-hand side. And this is why I went for a very, 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 very subtle design on the left-hand side. That said, I checked a lot more modern big cat habitats on ZooChat and stuff, and I saw that the usage of glass panels has increased by, at least it feels like it's matching the inflation rate at the moment, but it's insane. They use a lot of glass pieces, which are insanely hard to clean, I guess, but they fulfill a very good job. They are not as maybe ugly as, for example, mesh. They are not climbable in most cases. They are very steady, and you can even look through them, obviously. So they have a lot of added values to them, and I went for a little design that follows the design philosophy of this entire build, and I'm extremely happy with the final result, extremely happy. But now we come to my favorite part. In the design, like in the concept art, you can see this being like a little archway on top of the bridge, and I did this in-game as well, but I changed its purpose a little bit according to your guys' feedback. But this is something we are going to see in the next cinematic block, where I'm going to explain what exactly I changed to the concept art. But yeah, I was really happy. I was really happy with the design, how it came out at this point. But oh boy, it was so complicated to build. And I included only separate time lapses so you can see what I did in the final version, but I had a lot of attempts that actually failed. Now, let's move on into the next block. And there you have it. This is the, well, let's say 80% finished habitat with one major change, and that is, you know, the archway on top. But we are getting to this in a second. Just have a little look at how everything works out together, and also especially how I made the cover for the bridges. You can see there are some glass panels as well for the small bridge. The leopard can traverse over. There's no chance for them to escape. I paired this with some mesh fences and making sure they're all leaned inwards so they're not climbing above it, and just making sure everything is secured and nice. But now let's talk about that little open hole inside of the little arch, because you guys requested a view into the backstage area and to the indoor section of the leopards. And I thought, you know what, we can make like a little raised platform that grants them privacy, but also you get a wonderful view of the animals. One thing I needed to change as well is the underwater viewing, because simply leopards don't dive in the game, and they don't really usually do that in real life too. And so it was only logical that I needed to change something. And we came up with a very cool little lowered river area where there's like a little pond from which they could drink, for example. So a very nice design change, and I like it a lot. Alright, but now it's time for where it really begins to be a lot of fun. The foliage. And I actually, you know, this time around I finally managed to have a certain block of the video which is only focused on doing the foliage. And so you can see in the time lapse now, and then in comparison when we will actually jump into the real-time part, you know. So in case you're here for that, in a couple of minutes we will actually jump into the game. You see how that fully turned out. But you can see now in real time, so to say, how much foliage does change of, you know, the habitat's face, the whole look and feel of the habitat. So you've seen in this little block in between, this was the finished design of you know, the major work that has been done. You can always imagine this as like the habitat design. The exhibit has been done by the building company, and now it's time for like the, you know, landscape designers to jump in and do their thing. And I really, really love how that all turned out. I really struggled at the first glance to, you know, bring the right things in. And obviously also one thing to note is I obviously only used foliage that applies to this animal. So in case you want to use that in the franchise mode, it is usable because I didn't go full on, you know, design mode. I really choose only the things that they have. But obviously due to the last updates, we have a lot of great plants for these, you know, biomes in there anyways. And I really do like it. You can see I'm also trying to put a lot of planters in, making sure everything looks fine and as it is supposed to be looking, putting some foliage here and there, and, you know, just overall making sure that everything looks like as it is supposed to look like that, making sure that the trees also all don't give them a chance to escape. Some of them I have placed wrong in the first part, but yeah, making sure that also this little cave view over here is kind of finished. And there are a couple of little things, but you'll see that in the real-time part at the end, that I'm not 100% happy with quite yet. So I'm going to make the backstage and the indoor part later on, and I will make one episode potentially for the small clawed otter and this one together, because this is something I haven't done yet as well. So this has to be done as well. Putting all the enrichment items in is equally important because, as I said a couple of times now, this is meant to be also a working habitat. I tested this with all the stats and all the stuff you need, no problem about this. And then also giving them some climbing abilities, making sure that they have some climbing things and stuff, but you know, just a little spoiler, this has majorly changed in the finished result, simply because of a couple of little things I noticed along the way. As you can see, some of the climbable areas were not exactly how I wanted them to be, so I changed a couple of things. Also, I wanted to maintain some of the viewing angles, and if you put too many trees in, you basically block the view, and all these kind of things you can only see see if you're really working with foliage, making sure to add some texture here and there, making sure to, you know, add some supports here and there, and just all these kind of little things that bring the design together and that basically make the design at the end, making sure everything is clean and nicely turned off. You can see I'm putting like, you know, the glass panel in, and I just noticed, oh, it's not big enough. So I changed also a little bit of the angle of this little viewing hole. I think it even looks a bit more modern now. Putting a little fence in for, you know, foreground and stuff like that. But you'll see that even better now when we jump over into the game. I can't wait to show it to you. So let's do it. Alright, so here we are in the game, and you can see I'm now standing in front of the habitat, and I chose to go for the turgid cam, obviously, so you guys can see all the viewing angles that the guests actually have, maybe also from a kid's perspective or from a Dirk Nowitzki perspective, however you like, but we're gonna stay with the normal camel perspective, so to say. So this is the view from, you know, one of the kind of opening shots we have over here. If we go slightly to the side, we turn around, and you can even have like a better view inside of the sides if you fancy doing so. And to the right hand side, you can see you need to go all the way close to here. You have a wonderful view of this first bridge, which is exactly the height that you have a wonderful side of it. Look at that one. There it is. Boom, it comes jumping. Oh my god, is it just coming over for us? This is picture perfect, isn't it? Look at that. There is it. There it is. Kids can't see anything, but, you know, being bigger, you can see something. I mean, kids need to go close and then just have a little looky look. Look at that. There's the leopard doing its fancy dance there, just, you know, climbing down. Anyhow, I'm going to continue our way, moving up that hill, and as you can see, the habitat opens up to you. You can even turn around and have a wonderful view of this side over here if you want to. Oops, turgid cam is being weird. Hello? Hello, turgid cam. What is going on with you? Well, I can't really move up here. I think it's kind of a little broken. Now I jumped on top of that thing. Awesome. But we do have a wonderful view of this animal there, as you can see, moving alongside here. I'm actually going out of turgid cam. I think somehow it's still broken, whatever reason. Just imagine we are over here, you know, moving up that hill. You have this wonderful view, or you just want to finally arrive at the top perspective over here and then look down into this part of the habitat. So you can tell they have a lot of privacy under the bridge, very much down here in this pit or below that bridge. There's a lot of privacy for these animals. Or you're standing over here and you have this wonderful view inside of the backstage area. But I decided to go for this raised platform, so in order to make sure that they still could go down into a fully private mode, I granted them the access to the lower side without being seen by the guests. But if they want to go up, and it's a very nice chilly, you know, position for them, they can just go in here and have a wonderful sleep or whatever. Then you go down, you can see there's a little opening to the rest of the area, just a couple of plants that, you know, build the anticipation for you to go here. There's like a security wall greeting you on the left hand side. This is where the leopard could go over, would look really cool. And look at that from over here. You've got all these arches and stuff looking really cool. You've got the retaining wall to the left hand side, right hand side, and to the left you can see the animals if it's not just running away. We are just going to follow it. There you go, under the bridge. They have like a wonderful little chilling spot down here. And if you go further, as I said, this is not fully done. There has to be put like a wall or something. But to the right hand side, you can see the waterfall coming down, and there's like a little area where they can have a sip or maybe something like that. You can see them jumping up there. Really nice view as well under here. I think I like this curve quite a bit. It really looks super modern, super slick. Very nice to you know, also, you know, spend some time down here in the shadow if you want. Take that bench, you know. Look at that, there's one for us, just there, waiting for us. Yeah, you can see the angles are really cool, and remember, there are only 2 animals in, and we still had some really decent sides of them. And if you come over here, you can see you're greeted by some bamboo again, and also you can look back into the habitat. Look at that, there's one just for us here. That is so perfect. This was timing, mate. That was really good. Yeah, the one is just jumping over. Wonderful stuff. And now let's go all the way around here again and show this to you from above. So this is where I will also blend in the concept art now. I think I'm gonna put it to the lower left now for you, so you have a good idea, because I think this is just kind of the angle that I created for this build. Couple of things I just wanted to quickly mention. First one being, I had a little struggle over here with how I wanted to this side down here from, I think you can't even see my mouse cursor. I'm just going to quickly activate my mouse cursor so I can show it better to you. There you go. This is the mouse cursor's back. So down here, this is where I struggled a little bit how I wanted to do that because, you know, the path was a little bit weird and, you know, couldn't make them go too close to it. And so I decided to follow the kind of concrete look over here. So you can see in this lighting, it's not matching the color perfectly fine. It depends a little bit on lighting. Sometimes it does really look awesome, sometimes it doesn't. So it's really like a matter of you know, luck, I guess, if you know, hit the right color, because it, you know, it depends a lot of the lighting conditions. One more thing I wanted to show you is the backstage area, because I haven't really shown this to you at all. This is the area how it looks from behind. This is the little sneaky additional spot. I'm just going to quickly show you. There's nothing in quite yet, but if you use the habitat and you have too less space, you can just open that gate up here and then you have got more space in. You can see this is the inside area. They can just easily climb up there if they want to. This is the gate outside. We obviously have like a little thing that could slide down. Same goes down here. There's like also like a little closing mechanism in place. And yeah, so this is how it all looks. This is how the leopards can roam around. They have also some privacy in this corner if they want to, like a little bit of a prey sack, which they can play with. I think there are enough beautiful spots for them, but also this bridge over here is something really cool because they can't be seen by the guests. You know, they have also privacy moving over, and also look at how cool this entrance looks. I was inspired a little bit by the design of the first Hunger Game movie, of this central spot there from this Hunger Games map, but just like a little bit. I remembered that design and I liked it, so that's the main reason why. So yeah, with this breakdancing leopard over there, we end this episode again on this spot, just to put in maybe the comparison again, but yeah, that's been it. I really hope you like the design of it. I'll upload this as soon as it's ready, because there are a couple of little things I need to do before I can upload the blueprint, but I really hope you guys loved it. If you did like this design, please let me know in the comments down below. You like the changes? Is there anything you would change? And also hopefully you guys just loved it, and in case you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure to do so. That helps me out a lot. And also make sure to, you know, keep eyes out on the channel for more stuff like that. I will most certainly do more concept arts to habitats in this game. So yeah, looking forward to that one. Have a good time and goodbye everyone.